with the death penalty. I don't think there is a justifiable biblical verse section in context where you could justify the death penalty.
I mean, you do know it's the only verse repeated, the only law repeated in all 5 books of the Torah. You know the 5 books of the Torah?
Yeah, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and the Deuteronomy.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The only law that's repeated in all 5 books is that you shall give the death penalty if you take a life. So why do you know better than God?
Okay, that's great.
That's not man.
Yeah.
God said, if a life is taken, you shall take the life. So why is your opinion above God's own teaching to His people?
Yeah. My argument for that would be that is the old covenant. So the new covenant would be by grace you have been saved. So the same way God has given us grace, and that you should also put that on somebody else.
So there are 3 types of Old Testament laws. There's civil, ceremonial, and moral.
Yes.
We get rid of the ceremonial. We consider very highly the civil, and we live under the moral.
Yeah.
The civil, though, is repeated 5 times in all 5 books. And just to be clear, if someone takes a life, why should they continue to be able to live and breathe while their victim does not? Universal human equality actually shows that in honoring of the victim, that the perp who took a human life made in the image of God should not be able to continue to live. We honor the victim by giving the death penalty to the perp. Otherwise, you're saying that the perp gets something the victim does not have, which is life.
Totally. So I do understand that. I feel like you would take other examples, like Paul's ministry, for example. Murdered thousands and thousands of Christians, yet turned his life around. Why did we not end his life? I would argue, by the grace of God, he was able to start a ministry, proclaim the gospel of Jesus.
And he eventually did get the death penalty, ironically.
Yes, ironically, but that's obviously...
So did James
that was
and
against
Thomas.
The Romans, yeah.
And I'm not even, they didn't deserve the death penalty for what they did. I'm talking very simply. Death penalty for taking another life. And the argument is that it's in defense of the victim. It's honoring human equality for the victim. That victim no longer has life. That victim no longer is able to experience it. Why should the person who took the life be able to say it? It's actually dehumanizing to the victim. It's saying that, like, you get to keep on enjoying life in a prison cell or just being in a prison cell where the other person's life was taken. Again, when we look at a law that was so important, it's the only law that was repeated in all 5 books of the Torah. The only one.
Yeah.
Not honoring the Sabbath, not honoring your parents, not even putting God first. The only law that made an appearance in all 5 books was that you shall take a life if a life is taken. Seems pretty important to me.
I would say that, but I would also say grace is administered in every single book of the Bible in some context.
Yes,
and so my argument, though, would be, wouldn't that be the old law? That's the old law.
Again, that's civil. So civil we want to take seriously.
Is that like Old Testament to New
Yes, again,
Testament?
ceremonial we dismiss. Civil we take seriously, moral we live under, right? So those are the 3 types of the 613 laws of Judaism. So ceremonial, we don't have to honor the feast, we don't have to pray with a thing on our, on our hand, or we don't have to eat kosher fruit, we don't have to, not eat shellfish. I love shrimp, I'm sure you do too, right? Bacon is great, whatever, right? But I guess the question would be, what do you think is an adequate punishment for a murderer?
I would say you would show more grace by putting them in prison. And my argument for that would be, there's so many, there's millions of criminals all over the world that come to Christ in prison.
Yeah, I don't think that, though, our laws need to necessarily always be destined towards grace. We should pursue justice on our laws first and foremost, because justice should be blind. Individually, we should show grace. Like, if that guy's on death row, we should go and try to minister the gospel to him, and so that he can give his life to Jesus. But the law should be a teacher towards Christ. And it says in Leviticus 19 that the law should not show favor to the rich or to the poor. That's where we get that idea of universal human equality or blind justice.
Everyone is for Christ.
And I get it. So there's closed-hand issues and there's open-hand issues in Christianity. Closed-hand issue is the Trinity of Christ, the resurrection of Christ our Lord. On Sunday we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. Praise